For the most of the marriage, in fact, almost all of it, him and I were living in his parents' house, so we were like in a joint family. So as a kind of a last resort to try and fix it, he was like, because I told him a few times that I don't want this, like let's separate. So, and every time, and that's how the cycle of abuse works, is like whenever the woman threatens to leave, then it's all apologies and flowers and, you know, honeymoon period. So that's sort of like what no, we'll move out, we'll get a place of our own, and it'll be a fresh start, new life. So we'd just bought a new house, and it was beautiful, and I fell in love with it. And you know, I'd waited to have my own place for so long, but things were not getting better. And in fact, like the violence was escalating to the point where I became scared for my life. And one day he tried to choke me, and I somehow ran away, got into my car and drove like a maniac on a few of the streets, and parked somewhere behind like a secluded building, and just cried and called Assaulted Women's Helpline and calmed myself down, and then went back home. And then the next day I called my mom and said, "Mom, just come here, I need help, because this is the decision I've made." And I told him to move out and go back to his parents' house. He did, because at that time he thought that, oh, this is probably just one of her attempts, because, you know, I'd said it a few times before as well, and he was thinking it's just an empty threat. And he then said, let's sell this house that we had just bought, because then I can pay you child support and everything, otherwise I won't be able to, and I'll co-sign a lease with you for a condo, and then we can move there. And at that time, I didn't really have a lawyer. I didn't have much awareness about my legal rights or anything. So I said, yeah, I want to keep it amicable. You know, he's a good father and all of that. And I agreed. And the house was sold, and I asked him to come with me to co-sign the lease as he'd promised. And he said, LMAO, talk to my lawyer. And the ground beneath my feet was just like gone. And I'm like, oh my God, I've got 2 weeks left to empty this place. I have nowhere to go. I have no family in Canada. No friends, because he'd never allowed me to make friends. What am I going to do? And I have 2 kids. And he wouldn't pick up my calls or anything. And I went to U of T Mississauga, where I was a student. I was in second year at that time. And I told them, and they gave me a place right away on campus, as a little apartment. And they said, don't worry about rent. You can pay us when your OSAP kicks in. So I didn't even have money to pay for movers. I actually packed all my stuff in garbage bags, and took me about 5 days and multiple trips back and forth every day to move my belongings. And once I did that, I eventually got campus police involved and said, you know, please do rounds around my home, and eventually got a restraining order, and just was very difficult. I think the biggest not roadblock, but sort of shock that came my way was the cultural backlash. Like, I knew it would be hard, but it was just really, really bad. And kind of navigating through that, and while taking care of my daughters and stuff. But that's what I'm saying. Like, at that time, if I hadn't been a university student, if I hadn't had the support of that community around me, that my new friends on campus who would watch my children when I would go to school or go to court, or my professors who spent hours motivating me, and my mentors who were helping me make those decisions, I would have gone back if I didn't have that. And that's why I say it takes a community and a village to raise somebody. It's really, that's what happens, is like making that decision. Yes, that step is the hardest, but after that, it's that crucial time where if you don't have that right support system, like the cycle keeps going on.